That's okay. No, I might do that later if I can find it in books. I have a few things on women's issues. The most recent issue of cc&d was the 25-year anniversary. I had an A2 section, and I had a couple of poems in there about women's issues stuff, which some people may have heard before, but I might if I've got time to share with you. But I am going to read something from On the Edge, which is a thing of where my stuff has appeared in issues and chapbooks of cc&d over the years. And the chapbooks are things from every performance art show I do.
One of the most important things you know about Janet is her life totally changed when she had a car smash, which should have left her dead. And it's only by basically getting through that horrendous experience and reclaiming her expression, she's turned into one of the most productive people I know.
I was kind of productive beforehand.
Yeah, you're a journalist and all that stuff.
I was stopped at an intersection and hit by 2 cars.
Oh my
I was
God.
in a coma for 11 days.
Oh my God.
And then we don't have to walk and talk and eat. And I always say that because he brought it up. But yeah, I've challenged myself to do other things. And one of the shows I did is I decided years ago, because I needed a challenge poetically, is to write a poem for every element of the periodic table.
And she did.
That's awesome. That's
and
very
I finished
cool.
it before they all had names, so they say Unatio and stuff like that. But
Can I ask you what cc&d stands for?
the full name of the magazine is Children, Churches, and Daddies. It's named after a poem that talks about the dysfunctionality of those things.
Oh, okay.
But when I started the magazine back in snail mail days, people wouldn't know that, and I would get cover letters. Hello, I'm a Christian mother of 4, and these are my rhyming poems. I'm like,
Oh.
I'm going to have to get a byline, the unreligious,
Right.
non-family-oriented magazine. But anyway, it's just a lot easier to CC ampersand D.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the name. So it's one of the shows I did was a bunch of periodic table poems, and this was at the Lincoln Park Zoo where I read these in Chicago, which means I probably never read them anywhere else.
Can I tell her also about one thing we did together, and she did before me, was, you know, the graffiti wall? Poetry at the graffiti.
The Hope Wall? Oh,
Which
that's cool.
you know that it's been sold.
Yeah, a couple of my kids, I work with homeless youth, and a couple of my kids busk there on the weekends to make their rent.
Yeah.
And so they're freaking out because it's getting moved and it's not accessible to them on buses anymore. Once it moves.
There was a thing in Chicago that was called the Poetry Bomb, and that meant it was last Saturday of April, Sunday. Starting at 3:30 in the afternoon, you go to a place where you don't normally have poetry. That's not an open mic or you just go somewhere and read poems. And so I decided last year that I should do it there at the graffiti wall. And Tom was there. He's ripping on spraying paint around it. It's very funny.
You know,
and people would come and listen, and that was the point. And
Yeah.
so
Marty and I had an idea about doing, you know how people do those like pop-up restaurants and things?
Yes.
We had an idea about doing like pop-up poetry readings where you would just post on social media like it's going to be at this place. And like we wanted to do like by the train tracks where they have like a loading dock, right? Because you can stand on the dock and do the poetry there. So it's a thing we're throwing around to see if anybody would come to do that.
you know, kind of like
Social media people would.
Yeah, pop-up
Flash
poetry,
people.
right?
Yeah, flash poetry.
Yeah.
You've done a bunch of people and flash bombs and poetry in the place. So that's a cool idea. And anyway, this is where I decided to read periodic table poems at the Lincoln Park Zoo, apparently. This is number 35 in the periodic table. Like that means something to me. This is Bromine. You've stopped the fire in me. Oh, the zone you've tried to pull, leaving a stench in your wake. You want to stop my shaking, but wanted to sedate me. But I've learned better. You're just so unsafe that no one thinks that you're good. You're better. You've been so corrosive to me, and I know I haven't been seeing you around, but I've been trying to tell you. You have no purpose for me. The only thing you may be good for is killing the vermin around you, but at this point in the game, I'd rather keep things living, so please, keep your distance. Your toxicity depresses me, and when you sneak into my drink, you cloud everything instead. You think you make things picture perfect, but trust me, that argument is no longer enough for me. So please, don't poison me. Please, don't burn me. just let me get some fresh air again and get you away from me for good. Yeah, try to make a different story out of the element doing it. This one is Iodine, number 53. I saw a science fantasy show once where a man made entirely out of tumors could only regenerate himself by surrounding himself and submerging himself in bathtubs of iodine. Now, I'm not a tumor, I'm only human, but I have to remember that you're good for me. And you make your violet vapors. We just have to go on finding out ways to keep you with us as long as we can. You're rare throughout the universe, but lucky us on planet Earth. You're the one with the water, and so you seem to be all over the oceans. Lucky us, we need your nutrition, and we need you to help us heal. But, as I said, you're rare in the universe, which means you're rare on this land. And if we can't get enough of you, it might be an intellectual disability. But you help me see right down to my bones, and I don't want to lose my faculties or what makes me me if I don't have you. You've disinfected my cuts and sores. We've used you in our medicines, and I'm sorry. You may be rare in the universe, but I know how good you are to me, and I don't want to let you go. This one is Indium number 49. In the periodic table.
There's like 17 copies over there. So.
As I touch the screen to see images and words moving along the small LED screen, I feel you there, just on the other side. I say I've never needed you, but you've always been just on the other side, displaying what I wish to see, lubricating what cannot meld together. You're as brilliant to me as a shining silver metal, but you've been so fluid that you melt when I see you. That may be why you've always been just on the other side when it comes to us, and only allows me to admire you like this from afar. Nice short ones for you. This one is, I have no idea how these are going because I seldom read these. This is Scandium. Number 21 in the periodic table.
Never heard of it.
It's number 21. It's that low on the table. You think you should know it.
No, yeah.
You know, you figure.
I'm pretty sure they made us memorize it.
It's expanded now. They've got all these new ones that ain't last for half life.
Well, since they've actually given names to the ones up to 118, I'm like, I'm not changing. They're like, you have to do it. I'm like, nope, my book is done. It's $11.18 because it's for elements 1 through 118 in the periodic table. It's a big book, but this, well, in that book, that's all it is.
Yeah.
This is Scandium, number 21. You have been so rare to me. I've wanted to know you. I've wanted to see you, but you are more common in the sun than you are right here. And the only way that you're made is from the explosions of supernova. The scant amount of you the entire world knew was once used in Russia, preparing for Cold War battle. And you may be strong, you may give us strength, but your more violent strengths come from your creation in that burst of radiation that outshines the galaxy. I know you're more common in our sun, but the energy in a supernova's explosion equals all of the energy our sun ever releases. That's where you come from, and that's why I'm drawn to you. That's why I want to know you. Besides, even though we beat the USSR, we still hedge our bets to understand you for any strengths we can get. Hello. So this must be the
Oh, Nancy, you wonderful soul. Here we go. Right, that's right. How was the family celebration? Nancy runs Thursday.
Celebration time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think I'll have 2 more for you. We'll see how these go. This one is number 54 in the periodic table, and it's Xenon. It's so fun when you get in a poem with an element that starts with an X.
Sounds like a superpower.
Oh, I don't care that you're no Xena warrior princess. I just can't stand those high-intensity headlights of yours at night. You may numb me from my pain if I breathe you in, but the only good your brightness may do is that your excitement may add color and life and seeing me on plasma TV. But, you know, if I love outer space, I should like the fact that you are a propellant in ion drives. Because if Xenon is the ion, it can shoot out of a rocket and into outer space, forcing that rocket to move faster and faster through the void of outer space. Then again, I'm not going to outer space, and there's no funding to get us humans into outer space right now anyway. So, I'm sorry. You may think that you've got some great ideas, but when I'm driving at night, sometimes I think you should keep some of your ideas in check. This is the last one, and it is, I think it's a bonus poem, because I have a hydrogen poem. This is called From Hydrogen to Nothing. Love is like tap water, free-flowing. Remember when you were little, just put a glass in the faucet and quench your thirst? Wait a minute. It's not like that. Water isn't free. You even have to pay for the water in your own home. And it's not even clean. What you're getting is dirty, and you still have to pay for it. You know, when they say us humans are like 70% water. You know, they say as humans are like 70% water. And when I think of you and all the time we were together, well, if you're 70% water, I have to remember that there wasn't pure and clean with you. And if this was love, if this was you, it wasn't free. And I'm still paying for it. I mean, they say we're mostly made of water, hydrogen, oxygen. But it's like you were an electron from that hydrogen atom to me. One electron spinning around the center of me, always keeping an all too tight grip on me. I think I would be free. If I would think that I was actually free, there you would be. That one presence that I could never get rid of. You were spinning, orbiting, spiraling my head, spinning in my head, and you were keeping your distance, but still, you made sure that you were always there, holding me down. If we're mostly made of water, if you spun around me like that hydrogen atom, you kept me gasping for air. I needed that oxygen. I know water is hydrogen and oxygen. I know I've got it in me, but I just have to keep myself together after dealing with what you've done to me. When we're 70% water by mass, that's only 11% hydrogen. So most of the mass in my body may be oxygen, but by an atomic percentage, we're 67% hydrogen, meaning most of the atoms in our body are hydrogen. Just one electron spinning around that nucleus, just spinning and never letting go. When I now think of you, the fact that you made me feel like nothing, well, I think of what you're now made of, and I have to remember. We're all made of atoms, protons and neutrons, infinitely small, wound tightly together in the nucleus, surrounded at a comparably vast distance by an occasional, tiny, orbiting electron. So, when I think of you, I have to remember that you're made of those atoms with really tiny cores. And those atoms are filled with so much space that you're mostly made of nothing. When I think of you, I must remind myself of this. When I think of the nothingness you made me feel, and the fact that you should mean nothing to me, this is how I must think of you. From hydrogen to nothing, you just got some hydrogen, you just got some element poems. Thank you. Thank you, darling.